We'll begin our service today by lighting our Christ candle to remember that Jesus is the light of the world, and darkness will never overcome that light. And down here we have another one of the stories of Jesus' nicknames as our Good Shepherd. Isn't it so nice to imagine that even if we may get distracted by life and not being able to be at church is really hard, God still loves us and comes after us. And here we have our liturgical calendar, or how the church tells time. And we're moving forward. We're moving on through the season of ordinary time, working towards Advent. Yay! It's going to be so exciting to be closer to Christmas. As we move to the table, we have our offering bowl. I hope you have one at home that you can put money in, or you can offer your heart to God for the week, or say a prayer for something that you want to do. Maybe it's like a project, like a secret project of sending a card to someone anonymously, or baking some cookies for your neighbor. Those are all good ideas for things that can be an offering to God. And if you want to hit pause for just a minute, then Miss Ashley will come and sing a few songs with you before we get started on our story for today. Praise him, all you little children. God is love, God is love. Praise him, all you little children. God is love, God is love. Love him, all you little children. God is love, God is love. Love him, all you little children. God is love, God is love. Thank him, all you little children. God is love, God is love. Thank him, all you little children. God is love, God is love. Praise him, all you little children. God is love, God is love. Praise him, all you little children. God is love, God is love. Hi friends, today we're going to sing Christian, Christian, and we have sang that before, so I know you know it. But we're going to spell it out. So we'll spell out, I am a Christian, I have Christ in my heart, and I will live eternally. Ready? Here we go. I am a C, I am a CH, I am a CHRISTIAN, and I have CHRIST in my HEART, and I will LIVEETERNALLY. Okay. Now we're going to speed it up a little bit. Ready? I am a C, I am a CH, I am a CHRISTIAN, and I have CHRIST in my HEART, and I will LIVEETERNALLY. A little bit faster. I am a C, I am a CH, I am a CHRISTIAN, and I have CHRIST in my HEART, and I will LIVEETERNALLY. All right, great job. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. He's so good to me. He cares for me. He cares for me. He cares for me. He's so good to me. He's all I need. He's all I need. He's all I need. He's so good to me. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. He's so good to me.
Let's get ready to hear our story. And the way that we do that is to sing the Be Still song. And it helps prepare our minds and our bodies for being still and being able to focus on the story. So let's sing that together. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. We have another story in our desert box today. The desert was such an important place in all the stories, or lots of stories in the Bible, that we need a small piece of it in our worship center to help tell the stories. The desert is a strange and wild place. At night, it's very cold, but in the daytime, it is burning hot. And there's almost no water at all. And when the wind comes, it shapes and it molds the sand so that the desert never looks the same. Today, we're continuing with our story of the people of God. Remember that God led them through the waters to freedom, and they were wandering and wandering in the desert, and God gave them the 10 best ways to live. Because remember, they were used to the Pharaoh telling them when to work, when to eat, when to sleep, where to live. And all of a sudden, they were on their own out wandering in the desert. So they needed some direction. But they also needed a special place to be close to God. So first of all, they needed a special place or a special container to put the 12 best ways to live. And so they created this beautiful golden box that had 2 angels with their wings connecting on the top. And inside this special box is where they put the 10 best ways to live. And you can see it had these handles that the priests used to carry the ark. So it's not the ark like Noah's ark, a boat, but it's called the Ark of the Covenant. The covenant was God's 10 best ways to live with the Israelites. And they carried it with them wherever they went in the desert. But it was so special that they felt like it needed a special place to live. And so, let's see. They needed a way to get close to the ark. So here's our priest. At the time, the priests were the only ones who could come close to the ark. Just regular people couldn't do that. And so they made an altar where they could burn incense. Now, we've burned incense in our worship here before. It's a little disc, and when you light it, it makes smoke that goes up, and it has a powerful smell, all different kinds of smell. The one you probably know the most about is frankincense, because we talk about that at Christmas every year. So the priest would go through this great smelling incense and then be close to the Ark of the Covenant. But they didn't think that was quite enough. So, the next thing they made was a special table called the table of shewbread. This is a little table, and it has 12 loaves of bread, pretend bread, that represented the 12 tribes of Israel. And let's see, on the other side of what's going to be this room, they put a menorah, which is a special candle holder that holds 7 candles. And so now the priest could walk through the table of the shewbread, by the menorah, and then there was the sweet smelling incense and smoke to the Ark of the Covenant. But that still wasn't enough to get ready. And so next they made a tent, and it was really a strong tent called the tabernacle, a tent for God. And there were special curtains that divided the room. So I'm going to take the outside wall off to where you can see inside, and you can see the little curtains. And so there were 2 rooms. And there was the special curtain, and this room where they kept the Ark of the Covenant was called the Holy of Holies. So it has a special name. So now the priest could walk through the tent, in between, I'm going to have to slide him through, in between the shewbread and the menorah, and then he would go through the sweet smelling incense, and then very close to the Ark of the Covenant. But they still thought that wasn't enough. Can you imagine? So they decide that something has to happen outside here too. And they added an altar for making a sacrifice of an animal or something special that they brought. And they also added what was called a laver, which was a place to wash their hands after they made their sacrifice at the altar of the burnt offering. So here we go. So the priest would come and they would make the burnt offerings and they would wash their hands. Then they would go through the next room, by the menorah and the table of the shewbread. They would go in here, and there was the sweet smelling incense, and finally reach the Holy of Holies. That's where the Ark of the Covenant was. But the thing about having something so special like this is that other people might want it too. And so they decided that they needed to do some extra things to make it safe. So, first, they covered their tent with cloths, kind of to camouflage it. They put the most beautiful one first. And then they put a beautiful red felt. It's very soft. And then a gray. And last, because they were in the desert, they put a brown covering, so it wasn't very noticeable. Other people that were traveling in the desert would just see it and pass on by. that still wasn't enough. So they added one more thing. They added a fence. And so they put the fence around the entire thing. I imagine, don't you too, that they probably had like guards at the opening of the fence and maybe here and there around it too. I don't know. I wonder how, that's a good wondering question. I wonder how many guards they put around the fence to make sure that nobody got in that wasn't supposed to be in there. Finally, they have their Holy of Holies tabernacle to carry this through the desert with them. That wasn't the last place they stopped. They would have to unpack and unwrap and carry specially all of this with them through the desert. But they rebuilt the tabernacle every time they stopped, and they made a new place for all of their tents. It was a tent for God to be with the people wherever they went, and to keep the 10 best ways to live with them. That's quite an elaborate camping trip, isn't it? It's certainly different from small camping trips like we do today. They were camping for years, so they needed something a little more strong and more elaborate than what we usually camp with. But what are some things that you wonder about this story? I wonder about that incense and how the sweet smell of that brought them close to God. How did the shewbread and the menorah make them feel closer to God? I wonder where those 10 best ways to live are today. I wonder what you do to prepare to be close to God. I know for me it's different every time. Maybe sometimes I want to pray and be close to God in my car, and getting ready to pray and be with God that in that place is different than being here in our worship center and getting ready to be with God. So it's okay for it to be different ways in different times. I hope that you have enjoyed our story today. And maybe you can hit the pause button again and share a feast time with your family. And I'm going to show you another way to pray. We are going to make today, you'll need a piece of paper and a brown marker to draw the shape of a tree. And for the next 2 weeks, today and the next one, we're going to add names to our family tree. So here, who are some of the people that you like to pray for in your family? For me, it's my mom. My girls call her Grandma Lois. And some of you know my daughters Amelia and Zoe. And there's my husband David. And I could go on and on and on. You can name your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, anybody from both sides of your family. And again, leave this out, maybe on your dining room table or the refrigerator or your nightstand, somewhere that you will remember to pray for these people all during the week until we meet again. We'll do this prayer practice again next week, so we'll have 2 weeks to add more names to your family tree. That's it for now. I hope that you'll join us next week for another episode of Children Worship and Wonder. And I hope that you have a blessed, good week.